What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 10 of the Founder Academy. I just want to start the video by thanking everybody for getting to episode 10 so far. Please feel free to leave a like on the video and leave any comments you have down in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I usually say that at the end, but I appreciate everybody for supporting the channel. So let's just jump right into the video. It's a kind of a short one today. What we have is 4 games. I want to kind of get into some of this because I'm starting to get into some of the more tougher divisions here as I'm starting to come up against some bigger beast teams. So I'm looking for feedback on what to do with the team. Obviously, Daniel Sturridge is, you saw the team there, Daniel Sturridge is an untouchable there because, I kind of want to keep it BPL, but I am open to changing leagues, but he is pretty much the highest rated player that we have. We have a bunch of kind of riff-raffy guys in the team, guys that can compete, but we do need to start upgrading because we're coming up against some better teams. Like, this is a good example. This guy's got a pretty well-rounded team. We want to get to our team to at least kind of that level, so where we're kind of hovering around that 83, 84. Obviously, you guys know my feelings. I don't like to get the rating too high, so I want to keep the rating at 83, but we can get the starting lineup a little bit higher there because some of these guys are starting to show a little bit of fatigue and they're starting to show their quality or their lack of quality, I guess, in the team. So I want to know from you guys, what do you suggest I do with this? What do you guys suggest that I add? Who do you think I can include in it? The one guy that I was hoping to get was Informed Scott Sinclair. I know that he's not a BPL player, but we've got enough English guys in the team, including Daniel Sturridge, Dele Alli, that I was thinking getting that informed version of him at striker would be a pretty awesome card to have. I have this team of the season on my main account, and I do want to, try that striker out because I've had a lot of success with that team of the season. I know his stats are obviously like much higher, but that card does seem beastly, so I thought, if he's already at a striker position, we could probably fit him into the team and see, where that goes. So I want to know what you guys think of that. This guy's team, he didn't really offer too much. I think this guy ran down the wing a lot and tried crossing, so you guys see it was kind of a boring half, one shot each. A lot of these guys, I kind of alluded to it in my last video, they're really good defensively now in these higher divisions. They're not, overcommitting as much, so we're getting a lot more kind of grinding out type wins, which is okay. I just really want to get the wins away, but we're really starting to see some much different teams here, or I guess some of the same teams with that being said, because you are getting a lot of these guys that are playing with BPL teams. So I really need to take advantage of my chances. Daniel Sturridge, I don't know why I'm so faithful to him. I guess it's just probably because that card looks so nice, but he's been pissing me right off, for a lack of a better term. He's just been so frustrating because he misses so many chances. I don't know if it's just me, but I just got to crack shots with him. I'm trying to like pussyfoot these shots or low drive them into the bottom corners, but they're just causing me so much frustration. So I am open to potentially getting someone else in the rotation there to kind of see him out if we really have to, but he's probably the most inconsistent player in the entire team. This game, unfortunately, did go a little bit late before we finally do get, the winner here. We do get it with Smolov. Kind of a janky goal there. Bounces it off his keeper. This guy really just ran down the wings and tried to dump in crosses. He wasn't great defensively, but he wasn't bad defensively. He wasn't like, a fantastic player, but he wasn't terrible. He was causing me enough problems with his overpowered defense, but we did end up getting a second goal here. Gignac was sent through in behind because we did have to start pressing forward. So, we go up 2-0, and that's going to be really all it took for this guy because he didn't offer a lot offensively. It was pretty easy. You just have to hope that you don't get caught on any cheese header goals because those are really, really obnoxious, and especially at this point because my lack of real quality in attack, it's hard to come down to a deficit. So it's so important for me to get a lead. With my on my main account, I can kind of come back because the quality of the team is there, and I can usually, in fact, I have to claw back from behind so many times with my other team because they're actually, there's such good players in the higher divisions that it's pretty common that you go behind. But in these lower divisions with that team and that offense, I'm really hoping to really shut it down defensively and have to grind out these wins. So I want to get some better quality players in the attack here so we can actually start scoring some nice goals and entertain you guys rather than having, grinding out wins against some of these chumps, right? So The other thing I did realize was I needed to start putting these chemistry styles on. So I did go out and get a Deadeye. I put that on Gabriel Jesus because he didn't have one. I needed to get it shooting up. His pace was okay as is, and then I wanted to get one on Emre Can because he's probably not going to go anywhere in the near future. So these engine carts and the Deadeyes, those are two ones that I really like. I like using Deadeyes on fast strikers because, you know, a lot of guys like to have physical in shooting. I like to have passing and shooting personally. I think passing is a very underrated stat that you need to appreciate with your strikers because there is a lot of tiki-taka stuff in the box. And there's a lot of times you do get to your striker and you need to be able to have the passing to send him in behind for your other striker. With the midfielders, engine obviously is kind of the go-to one, or if you're using a CDM, using the anchor chemistry style is very important. A lot of you guys probably know that stuff already, but if you don't, if you are early or if you are not, you know, an expert in FUT, then definitely something to take note of is that you do need to make sure that you use your chemistry styles appropriately. The second game we come into, the guy hit a 3 at the back. 3 at the backs, I've had problems with 3 at the backs, funny enough. I always expect them to be very weak defensively, but funny enough this year, I find that the wingers actually track back, or at least they're clogging up the middle in terms of like the center midfielders, that it's not actually exposed as much as it was last year. Last year, you really saw a lot of teams get exposed for having 3 at the back, and I never suggested it, but this year it's actually, if you can play it properly, if you know how to not try or pull guys out of position, then you're definitely, you know, at an advantage for using it because you do have a lot of attack in that. I don't necessarily like it personally because I just find that it's a little too exposed and I do like to absorb pressure, but some of these guys are using it quite effectively. The other thing that I did want to talk about too was, you'll see it in the title, is morale. So for those of you that are not familiar with morale, morale was something that existed early on in early iterations of FUT, and it was very annoying to use because every time you lost, your team's morale would go down, and if you started a game with not 99 morale, your team would basically play like crap, and then every loss it would get amplified. That was a real cheesy goal from this guy who headed it in off the corner from Martial. Look at this goal. Man, I don't know how he scored that, but whatever. Near post headers, that looked like a fluky one. It wasn't even so much a near post header. He just basically won the header, but it drove into the near post top corner. And then we did come back with this one. So a little whoop, little how's she doing there? Put that away. 1-1. So anyway, back to morale. So morale was something that existed earlier on, and if you didn't keep your team's morale up, then it was very annoying to use. A lot of guys clearly at that stage in FUT, when it was very early doors, they didn't understand morale, and you saw a lot of guys that probably weren't using 99 morale. So morale cards were actually pretty cheap. I would assume that in this iteration of FUT, it would probably be a lot more expensive. They'd be very similar to fitness. You have to have 99 fitness, 99 morale. Even more so morale, because morale, if it was like 97, it was even a problem. So you wanted to keep your morale positive all the time. They got rid of that about maybe 5 years ago, but there were rumors that it still existed. Now, you guys know that I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I don't like to think that EA puts this stuff or removes this stuff from the game, but I also have been a big proponent of believing that there's just things like bugs that still exist in the game that they don't even potentially know about. So morale, the other thing that added to my conspiracy theory about morale was there was an employee from, I believe it was EA Spain earlier in the year, that mentioned something. It was unsubstantiated, so they didn't necessarily officially release it, but I think he put it on their Twitter, something saying that he thought morale was still in the game. I still think it is. I'm saying this because on my main account, I would go through these series of losses where it's like, if I lost, the next time I went into a game, everyone's crutch response is always just like, oh, you're probably just losing and you're probably rattled and you're probably playing on tilt or whatever. But there's a lot of times where I lose and I don't feel like I'm really that upset. I don't really get mad at it. It's just I lost to a better guy, but you feel it amplify. And if I didn't go into an offline game and correct it, or if I didn't, win a next game, my team would just play like crap. And the other thing is you'd hear a lot of is people being like, oh, well, the gameplay is bad right now. Which doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why there would be good gameplay and bad gameplay. Maybe the servers were a bit janky or whatever, but the game is the game all the time. It's not like EA have a switch where they go, good gameplay, bad gameplay. It doesn't make any sense. So for me, it was very frustrating because I never really understood why people would say that. The only thing that I could think of is actually morale probably still does exist in the game. So if you are having a losing streak, the only thing that I would suggest is, whether you believe it or not, whether you just need to get in your own head, go and play an offline game or play, with a lower rated team or a different team and just try to break that streak. Because if you go game after game after game and you just keep losing, one, you're either going to get mad, two, you're just going to, kill your record, and then three, I think that morale on the players is just going to go down. Maybe that doesn't exist. Maybe I just made all that up. I don't know. But just one of my own kind of theories. I still think morale potentially could be in the game. So just something to try. If you are having bad luck, then just go in and try to, change something that's going on, because playing with the team that's just lost 3 or 4 straight, clearly something's going on there, whether it's you or whether it's the game. So try to break that streak however you can. Anyway, so we did lose that second game there. Very annoying. You guys will, if you go back and watch that second goal, it was very frustrating because my defender took it away from Martial, and Martial ends up taking it back. He just takes the ball into Martial's path. It's just, those are the little janky things in FIFA that I just find so frustrating when players tackle the ball into the path of the player and he'll just come away with it. So you intercept the pass, but he'll take it into the path of the attacker, and the attacker just runs through with it. I just get so frustrated with that. But what are you going to do? He ends up scoring a third goal as well when I was pressing offensively. Real janky goal. I didn't think I deserved to lose to him, but, you could say that probably about some of the wins that I've had in my favor in this series as well, too. So a couple losses are going to happen here and there. Hopefully not too many of them, because they're really annoying. This third game, though, we came up against this guy. He had a very strange team. He was using, I believe it was Bruma and Renato Sanchez, and then he had Taiwo's, birthday card in there. I would guess that he won that in an SBC or one of the tournaments or whatever, and he was just trying to force it in there because it had no links to anything, and the rest of the team was all EPL. So he had Bailly and Smalling, not the upgraded ones, and he had a regular Jack Butland. So a very meta team, very frustrating to play against. And this guy wasn't necessarily a great player either, but he had a decent enough team that actually would cause some problems. So we did go 1-up. And then our first disconnect of the entire series. So I don't know what happened, if this guy quit out or what, but the game just disconnected around the 60-something minute. And very annoying, but at least we were 1-up, so it doesn't matter. We still get the win. We still move on. We get our 7 points. So we're hoping to get out of this division, which has proved to be quite frustrating. And then we come up against this last game, Snow Gamer 17. This guy was a very, very good opponent, and he must have been a good opponent because look at the team that he ends up using. Very riff-raffy team. It is all gold, but look at those connections. He was linking some guys, but it was just a very odd team to put together. He could have sold off a lot of these guys and actually put together a proper 100 chem team, unless all these guys are untradeable. But he was using some chem styles on guys and stuff like that. He had not Jirdan Shaqiri. Well, he did have Jirdan Shaqiri, but he had Granit Xhaka, as the left mid, essentially. I don't remember if he was using a 4-2-2-2 or a 4-4-2 variation with the two holding mids, but either way, he was playing Granit Xhaka as the wide player. He was hitting a lot of long shots. You'll see a lot of these efforts from him were kind of one-time efforts and whatnot. I've always also been a believer, speaking of kind of conspiracy theories, but I've been a big believer that when a player's got really low chem, he's still going to get a little bit of an advantage. Not to the point that he's probably going to beat you. He's going to have a lot of difficulty playing with that team, but the keepers also come up just massive. These guys end up playing way above their ability. In stops that usually you'd expect. I mean, no keeper's probably going to stop that because I was right in close and had to finesse it. But you're going to see his keeper make some real crazy stops. And he was probably only playing on maybe 7 chem. A lot of these other guys, too, they were playing on, basically 0 chemistry, or what should have been 0 chemistry, maybe 3 chemistry. And they looked like they were playing total world beaters. But with that being said, this guy was actually a very decent opponent. You're going to see he was moving the ball around quite well. I could tell from the way the gameplay was playing that he was moving his attack and defensive stance based on the actual flow of the game. He went into attacking and he strikes that. I mean, I don't know how that went in, but credit to him. Of course, of all people, Granit Xhaka hits that thing. First timer, double first time passes across the body, and he just hits this one-time miracle shot. So went in, it went in. It was in a decent position, but we strike back right away. Gabriel Jesus scores that, he missed that one. So I thought that was the goal. This is the goal right here. So almost the exact same play. I think this guy was really pressing to try and score. So the first time we missed the breakaway, but the second low driven ends up going in. Hopefully it's because of that dead eye I put on there, but I needed to score there really badly to get ahead of this guy because he was pressing and I really did not want to go down to him, and I was expecting this to go in. Look at that. That's why you don't use teams with low chemistry or players with low chemistry, because that probably would have went in if that was another player with higher chemistry. Maybe it was just getting FIFA'd, but that's very unlucky. He was right through, had the ball, and his player just wouldn't shoot, and I came and scooped it from behind and basically stole the ball back. He was, like I said, pressing. I essentially just had to keep the ball away from him. But very formidable opponent, really hard to break down, and considering the team he was using, you could tell that he was either starting a new series or starting a new team, or had just, not played a lot of fun. But he was a very good opponent, understood the game, and it was a very tough 2-1 win. So that's going to be the end of the video, guys. Like I said, please leave a like on the video. Leave any comments you have down below, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try and get a video out really quickly before the end of the week. I want to either download PES 2018 or play with my main account. So let me know what you guys would rather see, live comms on either of those. So just try to mix it up. But until next time, stay fit. Peace.